Hey guys, so this is just a little video about the two games that you have for Thursday's work. So I'm in Google Classroom. You can also access this from the Google Doc. And first I would just click on this link, Unit Circle Game. So I already have the links open to make this a little faster. When you open that, you'll see a screen that looks like this, and you'll just have to scroll down to the game. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to press Start Game. And it's going to pop up some sort of value here. So this is 11 pi over 6. I know that that's a radian measure, and that goes right in here next to 330. So I'm going to click on the 330, and it'll tell me if I'm correct if it's green. 0 or 2 pi, that's the radian measure that goes with 0. This point, 1/2 negative radical 3 over 2. This is positive, negative. So it has to go in the fourth quadrant. So the x value is pretty small, 1/2. This is a little bigger. So I'm going forward and down to this point. So that's where you click for the points. X, which is cosine, that's just the axes here. And then luckily this just came up. So positive, positive, that's talking about the quadrant values. That goes in these four, which is right here. So you just continue on with the game. 3 pi over 2, radian measure would go down here, and that hopefully is enough to understand what's going on. So you want to play this twice just to kind of go through and do the unit circle. The second site, which is this one, the sine and cosine graphs, I also have that open here. So that one will look like this. You're just going to press play, and basically it's going to have you pick different values on the graph. So I must have play somewhere else. I press play from this middle play. So the first thing is sine of pi. So I look, and the red graph is the sine graph. If you did your lesson from yesterday, lesson 86. So pi, this is 0, pi over 2, pi. So I'd click here. The next one, so I got it correct. The next one is cosine of pi. This is the cosine graph. This is where pi is on the x-axis. So that's here. Cosine of 0, starting value. Cosine of 2 pi is over here at the end of the cosine graph. I'm waiting for a certain value, so I'm just going to click through a couple. There's sine of 2 pi, cosine of pi over 2, sine of pi over 2, cosine of 3 pi over 2, and sine of 3 pi over 2. Okay, this is the one I was waiting for. So cosine of pi over 4. Pi over 4 is in between 0 and pi over 2. We want to be on the cosine graph, so it actually is a point where they intersect, so I'd click here. So you want to go through that game a couple times. Obviously, you kind of watched me play most of it, but this will just kind of help you understand and remember those values on the sine and cosine graph.